resistance.
What's up, everyone? This is Tinman with the Worldwide Resistance Network, and welcome to episode 3 of Tinman TV. Yes, everyone, this is Tinman TV. I, of course, am your host, the Tin Man. We are White Rabbit taking you down that damn rabbit hole every fucking week. Brought to you by Net Monster Blue, the fictitious product that doesn't actually exist because we are not sponsored by anybody. Not sponsored by everybody. What I'm on today. No, we are not sponsored by anybody. I've been the one putting the bill for everything. Everything you see here, the X verification, all the bells and whistles you see on our streams, all came out of my pocket. So, by all means, if you like the broadcast, share it, like it, subscribe to it, get the word out there. Follow us on X, Rumble, YouTube, all of that. Support us by checking out our merch on our online store. The link to that is in the description of the bot of this video. Help support the broadcast and get great merch while you're at it. We've got the Charlie Kirk merch. We've got the TWBRN exclusive merch. We've also got the No Strings merchandise that we just launched last week. Fuck No Kings. It's all about no strings, no more puppet politicians. Go check that merch out and help support the broadcast. And on terms of support, let's talk more about the government shutdown, shall we? Day 33, or is it 34 now? Like, seriously. Is this now the longest government shutdown that we've had, or is it still the second longest? I've lost track at this point because it's just so fucking insane. And everything I'm reading online, like I waited till about 10:30 tonight to start this stream because I wanted to pay attention to the news. I wanted to pay attention to the X feeds, see what was going on, see how things turned out with this being Monday and, the first official government work day of the work week. I wanted to see what transpired. I wanted to see if food stamps would actually maybe get turned on, or if Trump would come through with some freaking miracle, which I don't know what the fuck that guy can do. I'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted to see what would transpire. I wanted to, for lack of a better term, have my ducks in a row and go, okay, what did today bring? And don't mind me, I am just looking to make sure that the comments are enabled. They should have been enabled, but they were not, so they are now enabled. So you, the audience, can now officially join in the conversation. I'm 5 minutes in, and I just now turned on the comment section. Shame on me. I am off my fucking game today. Just like the government, off their fucking game. Completely fucking shut down. But I wanted to see what would happen today. I took my time. I wanted to sit back and watch and see what would happen. Because I wanted to see if people would start rioting. I wanted to see if civil war was going to pop off, or what would happen. Okay? I'm not advocating for anything. I'm not anticipating, like, oh, is this going to happen? Damn. Dude, I just went total fucking Jew right there. Uh-oh. I did it. I did it. I did it. I said the forbidden secret word. Uh-oh. I broke it. I broke my cue button. But I did it. Oh, I did it again. I said the secret word. Hey, just like the government, nothing works today. Okay, but again, I wanted to see what today would bring, and honestly, it's been quiet on the front. I'm honestly relieved because I think people are starting to get it. I think people are starting to figure out, hey, we can't go out and get stupid about this. We can't go looting and advertise that we're going to go looting and then turn out and do it because it's just going to come back to bite us in the ass. Okay, I think people have finally figured that out. I think for the most part, people have figured that out. I even went down to Walmart this evening around the time that many people were indicating that they were going to loot the Walmarts because I wanted to be on the front lines and stream it live and catch these people in the act. But nothing happened. Everything was quiet. So I was actually pleasantly surprised because I don't want stores getting looted. I don't want prices going up because of loss of product and insurance premiums and all of that nonsense. I don't want the economic impact that would come from the stocks and all that. In fact, we haven't heard anything on that front either. Everything has just been quiet today. It's been eerily quiet, like the calm before the storm, and I don't like it. I don't like it. So, but what I do hear is Trump needs to do this. Trump bad. Orange man bad. Me no like orange man. Orange man bad. Well, why is the orange man bad? I don't know. Orange man bad. He need to fix government. This is his shutdown. He needs to do something about it. Okay, what would you have the guy do? Okay, would you have him sign an executive order turning food stamps on? Okay, at which point, where's the money going to come from? Okay, that's why you have a spending bill so that the money can come in and you have money to pull from and designated to this, that, or the other, yada yada yada. So where's the money supposed to come from without a spending bill to delegate everything? Yeah, the money comes from your taxes and so on and so forth. But there's processes and procedures such as spending bills that need to be implemented before that money can be allocated and used. You have varying reserves, but those aren't going to be enough to pay government workers, pay 40 million families in food stamps, pay the military, and everything else. Yeah, I mean, you have reserves and all that, but they're chump change. And even if they could cover it for a month, maybe two, what happens when that money runs out? What are you going to do then? You're just right back to square one. And now there's no money for anything. Okay, you completely depleted all your resources. And for what? Now, he could sign the nuclear deal, which would throw the filibuster in the trash can and pretty much make way for majority rule, which with 53 Republicans in the House versus 45 Democrats, or the 219 Republicans in Congress versus the 214 Democrats? Okay, if majority rule, the Democrats might as well just hang it up because they don't have a fucking voice. Okay, that's why you have supermajority votes and the filibuster and all of that, so that even if there is an overwhelming majority, like 53 Republicans versus 45 Democrats, the party with the smaller numbers still has a voice, still has a say, and can make an impact. You remove the filibuster, then it's done. There's no more voice for the Democrats as it presently sits. So that would be fucking political suicide for the Democrats to even suggest that. So what, pray tell, do we want Trump to do? I see we got 11 people in the feed right now watching. Go ahead and give us your thoughts. What should Trump do, if he can even do anything at all, to end the government shutdown? What is within his power, his constitutional authority, to do to end the government shutdown without seizing power, violating the Constitution, or eliminating the filibuster, which would eliminate, at this point, the Democratic voice in the Congress and Senate? What can we do there to that's not going to come out very, very badly? Turn on comments so that our comments are on, but want to move to that page so I can actually see it so that people. Yeah. So what can the orange man do? Now, you have this bill that was passed down from Congress to the Senate. 53 Senate Republicans voted to pass the bill, along with one independent and one Democrat. So you have 55 out of 60. You have 55 votes. You need 5 more. You need 5 more Democrats to jump on board to end the government shutdown and pass this bill. Now, I believe that they can reopen the government without necessarily passing the bill. I don't know the finer details on that, but I have heard a lot of Republicans saying, open up the government and we'll talk. Don't hold the American people hostage just to try to get what you want and force our hand. Okay, which I can understand. You know, you don't weaponize government. You don't hold the American people hostage just to get something you want or because you don't like something, yada, yada, yada. You know, we're adults here. And, I know it's kind of the trendy thing to get in your feelings and be emotional and throw a fit when you don't get your fucking way. But we need to get out of that mindset, especially in the political arena. At which point, if that's how it's gonna be, I say let's dress everyone up in chicken costumes, from Congress, Senate, the judges, to the executive branch, everybody, politicians, Republican and Democrat, dress them up all like chickens, give them all knives, and we'll go down to Pomona and have a big old cockfight. It'll be a freaking cockfight battle royal. And whoever side wins gets what they want. Let's do that. Let's have a cockfight battle royal with where all these politicians dress up like chickens and have a fight to the death. Let's do that. I think that'd be a great idea. Yeah, you want to solve your problems and go dress up like chickens and have a cockfight. Because I am sick of this toxic, narcissistic, childish nonsense. Grow up, act like adults. You wanted in office and got voted into office because you convinced the people that you were the best of the best, that you could get the damn job done ethically and responsibly. And now we have infighting like fucking children. Okay. It's fucking ridiculous. It isn't going to keep up. Just dress up as chickens and head down to Pomona for a cockfight battle royale. Okay? Be done with it. Fucking hey, dude. And it's really fucking stupid. You want millions, if not billions of dollars, Democrats do, for foreign aid projects. And many of it's not even foreign aid, it's LGBTQ awareness and stuff like that for African countries and other areas. You want money to support these failing news agencies. Motherfucker, I'm sitting here in one of my spare bedrooms that I set up in as a studio, and I'm going live. Okay? You don't need millions, if not billions of dollars to prop up a news agency. Come on. I'm doing this out of my fucking house right now. Okay, don't sit there and piss on my head and tell me it's raining and try to convince me that you need to send millions of dollars of mine and my fellow Americans' tax money overseas or to support varying news media outlets. Suck my dick backwards and buy me a fucking milkshake because I ain't buying the bullshit. I know where the cow ate the cabbage and it wasn't in no damn cabbage patch. So bite my fucking dick and quit trying to feed me bullshit. Because it ain't happening. I ain't buying it. No, no, no. Ain't buying it. Okay? And also you want to harp on this healthcare bullshit. Hugging on the heartstrings of the American people. Are you fucking kidding me? You want to say Trump's the bad guy in this? Okay? Trump and his administration lowered medication costs initially before Trump, even when Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act was still getting its subsidiaries. Americans were paying the most out of everybody else in the world for pharmaceuticals and medications. Trump nipped that in the butt. Trump with RK is trying to get the fluoride out of the water, get all the dyes and harmful additives out of our food, pulled the mercury out of the vaccines, and is doing all kinds of work on that front with vaccines and all that nonsense. And you want to bitch about healthcare reform and that he's not bringing a new Affordable Care Act plan to the table? What? You gotta be fucking shitting me. Okay? The Affordable Care Act was full of fucking holes. That's why it had to be passed before anybody was allowed to read it. Because it was a crap fucking bill. The insurance premiums were through the fucking roof. That's why Democrats are screaming for the subsidiaries. Because initially, we gave them the subsidiaries. We gave subsidiaries to the Affordable Care Act to support it and prop it up. They had 15 years of subsidiaries to fix the problems in the Affordable Care Act or to present something new. And you had Obama in office from 2010 to 2016, And then Weekend at Bernie's with Joe Biden from 20 to 25, from 21 to 25. Okay? So, in all this time, Democrats couldn't redraft a better healthcare plan? Okay, you had a full term and a half with Obama and a full term with Joe Biden. You got to tell me in 10 years of Democrats in the executive branch that you couldn't have used that time wisely to draft a new healthcare bill, or at least fix the problems with the existing affordable healthcare system, your Affordable Care Act that's full of fucking holes? Brain hurting. Like, seriously, you can't put this all on Trump. Okay, yeah, there are a lot more things that Trump could do and probably should do. I'll be the first to hound on that. Hey, move faster, Orange Man. Crack the whip. Okay, I'm not entirely opposed to that. You know, there are a lot of things that I think, you know, especially on alternating fronts on varying issues that I think he should do or do differently, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I can understand that. I'm fully on board with that. I get it. But my question is, during the term and a half with Obama and the full term of Joe Biden, no Democrat thought to go, you know, we need to fix this thing before the subsidiaries run out and this ship sinks. Like, what? You think the American people are just going to continue to fork out money into the fireplace just to keep this thing going? No. We need something better. We want something better. Something better has to be drafted. And it's not just on the executive branch. Okay, the legislative branch, Congress and the Senate, is able to draft bills as well. Okay? You can do these things. It's not all on the president. It's not all on the president to sit here and go, I have an idea. Put it into play. And Congress and the Senate says yes or no. Okay, it's not just that. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the Congress and the Senate can implement ideas and put forth ideas and legislation and bills as well. Okay, am I wrong in this regard? In fact, let's look it up. Let's just see, because I want to know. I want to know. I don't give a fuck about software update right now. Can Congress or the Senate draft and pass legislation?
The Senate drafts laws by introducing bills, which committees review and can amend. If approved, the bill goes to the Senate floor for debate and a vote. If passed, it then goes to the House of Representatives.
Now, I hope that came through on my phone, but what I'm reading here is the Senate drafts and passes legislation by introducing a bill, which is then sent to a committee for review, debate, and potential amendments. If the committee approves it, the bill moves to the Senate floor for debate and a vote by all senators. If it passes, it is sent to the House of Representatives to go through a similar process. Okay, so yes, the legislative branch can draft bills. They can draft a new, better version of the Affordable Care Act or draft a new healthcare plan or system in its entirety. The legislative branch can do this. It's not all on the executive branch. Okay? Congress and the Senate and the House as a whole can do these things. Okay, so it is not a matter of Orange Man bad, Orange Man not doing things. Okay, we have other branches of government who have power to get shit done. Okay, so if we're going to hold one person's feet to the fire, let's hold everybody's feet to the fire here. Come on, let's not be biased. Now, the only reason that this shutdown is allegedly occurring is because the Democrats want these subsidiaries rather than drafting new legislation and fixing the Affordable Care Act. They just want the system propped up to pay all these bills that the Affordable Care Act isn't covering, because the Affordable Care Act is not as affordable as we were initially led to believe. Hence, again, why the bill had to be passed in secret, and you had to pass it before you could even fucking read it. Like, seriously, who the fuck does that? And who in their right mind would have gone, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's look to pass something so that I can read it. You never sign something before reading it. It's not something we were always taught growing up. You never sign something unless you read it. Didn't they do an entire episode on South Park about that? You know, the human centipede thing, the human centipede thing. Didn't they poke fun of this? Because the whole premise was people aren't reading the terms and conditions before signing something, that they're not reading the contracts before they sign them and are getting fucked over. Okay, and especially in terms of government, why would you sign something into law without knowing what it is? Okay, they could have sat there and signed something that said that every member of Congress had to have a cactus shoved up their ass every Tuesday at 5 p.m. And they never would have known it, and they would have signed it into law before ever having to read it, and then look at it and went, oh shit, Tuesday is going to be a really bad day. I mean, come on, common sense. Okay, just on that alone, that bill should have been repealed. And just even the fact that anybody would have fucking signed off on that thing and voted to pass it just to read it should have been disbarred. Should have been voted out of office. Like, seriously. How the fuck are these people still in power after voting on something that they never fucking read just so they can read it? Why? Why is my government so stupid? Yeah, I can't even say they're stupid. They're not stupid. This is deliberate. My God. What are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? We got 10 people tuning in right now. What are your guys' thoughts here? Should the House committees have been allowed to pass the Affordable Care Act before ever having read the damn thing? Should it have ever been lawful, or shouldn't there have been any sort of legal repercussions for even suggesting that somebody would have to pass a bill before they were allowed to read it? And shouldn't there be repercussions for the people who voted to pass the Affordable Care Act simply because they wanted to read it? Like, seriously. And why is there no repercussions to this? This is completely irresponsible and unethical. I don't know about legalities, but definitely irresponsible and unethical. How the fuck these people stayed in power after that is beyond me. I guess I don't get it. So honestly, I think the Democrats just need to bite the bullet on this one and just say, okay, we had a bad idea. We're not going to be able to prop this thing up. Just pass the fucking bill. And honestly, I'm at the point where people need, I'm going to suggest that people need to call up their state representatives and go, look, you either reopen the government or you tender your resignation because we're not playing your fucking games. Okay, I would suggest that every American across the nation, regardless of what state you're in, pick up the phone and contact your state representatives and tell them to reopen the government right now. And as far as California goes, I'm certain that this is government weaponization to force the people to pass Proposition 50 under the whole guise of, ooh, Trump bad, Republicans bad because they hold the majority. We need a majority again, blah, blah, blah. Just so they can get those 5 additional seats with their little redistricting plan instead of just waiting until 2030 to do redistricting like they're supposed to. Yeah, they're out of fucking power. They want their power back, and that's why they're pushing this bullshit Prop 50 nonsense. And I am of the firm belief that Democrats are deliberately keeping the government shut down in order to get people to vote yes on Prop 50 under the guise that if Democrats get more people in office, they can end the shutdown, which they can't because you still have a filibuster. You still have supermajority votes. Okay? And even if you get 5 more seats, 5 more congressional seats, there's no guarantee that those seats are going to be filled, that voters are going to vote in all Democrats. And that's beside the fact that those people can't even be elected until they've ran and campaigned and there was a vote in 2026 during the midterms, and then they take office in 2027. And again, that's provided you get all Democrats in all 5 of those seats. At which point, if things stay about the same as they are, you would have 219 Republicans. You presently have 214 Democrats. If you get the 5 additional seats and manage to fill them with Democrats, you have a 50-50 split of 219 people on both sides. At which point, you have a tie. You have a stalemate. Okay, even if you went with minimum majority, you're still going to have a stalemate. Okay? Even if you didn't do supermajorities and filibusters and all of that nonsense, even on a 50-50 split, you're going to have 219 Republicans voting one way, 219 Democratic congressmen and congresswomen voting another way. Okay? You're not going to get a majority here. Especially with everybody wanting to do redistricting. It's just going to make for bigger government and prospectively a stalemate. Okay, what you need is smaller government. Okay, maybe 1 to 2 people per state. Okay, you tell me why you need, what is it presently? 443 congressional representatives in Congress? You tell me why you need that many motherfuckers. Okay, you tell me why you need 2 senators per state in the Senate. You're going to tell me why you need 219 Republicans and 214 Democrats in Congress. That's just overly convoluted. And you want to add more to that? No! No, no, no! You know, apart from the fact that California wants to redistrict in order to gain or in order to include illegal minorities in a census in order to gain more House seats and inevitably, shift the voting scale in California by allowing migrants to vote, which they say they're not, but we all know they are. Come on. Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. Okay, you had fucking dead people voting, for Christ's sakes. Okay, you didn't bring all these millions of migrants across the border because you like fentanyl and they're cooking. Come on. Okay, you wanted to sway the voting maps, and you wanted to prospectively have these people voting, whether they be citizen or not. Preferably, you'd get them their citizenship. At least you'd be doing the right thing in that regard by having actual citizens voting versus non-citizens. But I digress. But it's pure and simple manipulation of the system. Democrats are trying to manipulate the fucking system here in order to sway things in favor of their party because the majority of the American people are sick of their fucking shit. Okay? Again, Detroit used to be Motor City capital. It's now a completely run down and virtually destroyed. It's a ghetto. California used to be the place to be. With, Compton just being that little ghetto, and then it just kind of went to shit. San Francisco used to be a beautiful city. I don't think I need to go into details on where it's at now. The cost of living through the roof. And it's the same with every Democratic area. Crime, cost of living. Oh, fuck. It's just completely out of hand. The cost of living is high in every Democratic area. The crime rates are high in every Democratic area. The cost of living is outrageous in every Democratic area. It's insane. Okay? Leftist policies clearly don't work. Leftist policies are raising the cost of living, raising crime, raising homelessness. And they're not creating jobs, even though they say that that's what they're trying to do. I mean, Cortez in her district, AOC, shut down that Amazon contract, which would have created thousands of jobs, even though they're now laying off like 30,000 people for AI. Fuck you, Amazon. That is a fucking shitty fucking thing to do. I firmly agree that artificial intelligence and robotics should not be used to replace jobs that human beings can do. If a human being can safely and adequately do that job, then yeah, they should be allowed to continue on in that job and not have their job replaced by AI. And if you're going to replace a job with artificial intelligence, they need to restructure so that they are not laying off employees, but moving them to a different department where they can be equally effective. Okay. You should not fire somebody in order to replace them with a goddamn machine. In any company that does that should face serious legal penalties. But I digress. Okay, but getting back to the Democratic thing, Democratic policies obviously don't work, which is why all these Democratic areas went to fucking shit, and so many people left these blue areas to go live in red areas, even though many of them are still voting blue, which I don't understand. Why would you leave a blue city if you support blue policies? Why would you come to a red area because their policies work better, only to try to implement blue policies? That is fucking stupid. We all live in the submarine. Yeah, but bottom line, most people are sick of Democratic policies. That's why they're moving away from these blue areas and why they're not voting. eh, At least the majority of them aren't voting Democrat anymore, myself included. Okay. Up until Obama, I would have considered myself a diehard Democrat, but he lost me. Like, seriously, dude fucking lost me. And not because of the color of his skin, but when I was pretty well with Occupy Wall Street in regards to that whole situation. When Barack Obama bailed out the banks, the economy is fucking shit, and Barack Obama bails out the banks. And I'm with the rest of the American people going, he did what? Yeah, that's where dude lost me. That and China and many other things. I was just kind of picking fun at him for a while there, but I was still kind of just hanging back in the sidelines. When I first started doing podcasts and doing videos back in 2010, I was sitting there going, I have faith. I hope things are going to turn around. Just give them a little time, give them a little time, give them a little time. And just over the course of time, I'm just like, okay, just no. This isn't change. This is more of the same, and it's an even bigger dick in my ass than before. Okay, so yeah, I jumped ship on that. It's like, okay, the ship's going down. Give me my. I'm putting air in my life raft, and I'm jumping ship. I'm out. So I mean, and that's where I was at in 2000, in 2010, 2011, 2012, and many other people have followed suit since then because they're just like, dude, these policies aren't working for us, and now they're sitting there saying, oh, we're going to create jobs, bring us back in power, we'll create jobs, we'll create jobs. No, they don't. Every fucking time that people bought into that fucking bullshit, they didn't create jobs. They just created more dependency. That's why you got 42 million Americans, many of which with families of two or more children, who are on cash aid and benefits and SNAP benefits. And it's not just SNAP benefits, it's cash aid and it's Medi-Cal. I mean, even before Obamacare, you had things like Medi-Cal. Government paid for healthcare through the welfare system. Okay. And, even in the past couple of years, you've heard about migrants getting double those benefits than what Americans get. Okay. On average, a single American who didn't have children would have received $200 in SNAP benefits every month for food. That single migrant was getting 400. Okay? And it just goes up from there. So yeah, for Americans to be sitting there watching all this, they're figuring out, hey, yeah, these people really aren't for us because they're the party of the poor people. But you got to have poor people in order to have a party, in order to have voters. You got to have poor voters who are going to vote for you, who are going to vote for the party of the poor people, because they're the party of the poor people. They're going to help the poor people. But if you don't have a poor class of constituents who are going to vote for you, then the party's dead. And the people have figured out, hey, they're not helping the poor people. They're just helping themselves by keeping the poor people poor. And now you have government weaponization where they have created this dependency, and now they are weaponizing this dependency in order to get what they want, whether it be the passing of Prop 50 or to force Republicans to concede to varying demands in the legislative branch, or just spark a fucking civil war. Okay? You create enough hunger, everybody becomes a criminal, right? Okay? Create enough hunger, yeah. Enough people will try to overthrow a government. Yeah, I'm sure. No doubt. Okay? Didn't they say the communist uprising would start with the cutting off of government assistance? Yep. I mean, so seriously, this whole damn thing's a fucking nightmare. And this for these Democrats to sit there all over social media, I'm seeing it every fucking day. These people going, "Oh, this is the Republican shutdown. Oh, it's Trump shutdown." Like, I'm sorry, Chucky Schumer, but weren't you the one who said that you wanted the government to stay shut down till October 18th, the No Kings protest, because you wanted tensions to be high? You wanted the tension? Wasn't it you and your fellow party members who said on multiple occasions that this shutdown helps your cause, that it's helping your party, and that it is the only leverage you have? You expect the American people to not see that when you are going on national TV and it's all over the fucking internet and you're saying you want the government shut down, that it's helping your cause, that it's the only leverage you have? Okay, you have just told the American people that you have used them as hostages and leverage to get what they want and force not only the Republican Party, but the American people to do the will of the Democratic Party in getting the people to work for the government instead of the government working for its people. Okay, you literally just said the quiet part out loud multiple times, and you think your constituents aren't going to see it? You think even the migrants you brought over here aren't going to see this? You think the migrants that have been here, that are the families of the migrants that you brought in after the fact, aren't going to sit there and tell the people that came in, it's like, hey, don't vote for these assholes. I know you made a deal with them, but dude, these guys ain't all. These guys are out of their fucking minds. Like, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. I know you're here, but like, flip the fucking script on them because these guys are fucking nuts. Hey, like, seriously, you think doubling down and giving these people double the welfare benefits is going to fucking sway them when they can see that you are completely destroying the rest of the country? It's like, they just look around. It's like, oh yeah, I got a nice shiny penny, but the house is burning down. Okay, you think these people don't fucking see it? You think the migrants don't see it? You think the families of the migrants, many of which were here before the influx during the Biden administration, don't see this? You think the American people don't see this? Come on, guys. I don't even know what else to add here. It's insane. I mean, again, I'm strongly advocating that people vote no on Proposition 50 and not fall for the Civil War baiting, because that's what they're trying to do. They want the Civil War. They want power. They want Prop 50 passed. They want power. They want They want total control is what they want. They want to throw this country into such a state of civil unrest that the country just implodes and the globalists can come in and go, okay, we're stepping in now. We're the globalists. United States, you obviously can't handle your shit. Your government elected officials are completely out of their fucking gourds and can't handle things. The American people are in the streets killing each other, acting like animals. We're stepping in. Welcome to the new system. It's called the New World Order. Welcome to the Hunger Games, ladies and gentlemen. That's what these people are trying to do. They are trying to create a Hunger Games type world. And they think that they're going to be the top dogs in this new system. And they might be, they might not be. They're not going to have total power. But they're going to be sitting pretty, doing nice in their little mansions while we are herding into compact cities and living in a world like what you've seen in Divergent or the Hunger Games or any such movies like that. Maybe they'll even have introduce the purge. Who knows? Who's to say with these psychopaths? But they're going to be sitting pretty while Bill Gates laughs his ass off, forcing us to eat bug protein, and Fauci's injecting us with all kinds of experimental bullshit. But this is the world they want, and we need to say no. So, and it starts here. Instead of giving these people what they want, vote no on Prop 50. Don't allow your emotions to get the better of you and cause you to aid in sparking a civil war. Call up your state representatives and demand that they knock their shit off. Pure and simple. Call them up and say, look, reopen the government. I'm not playing your fucking game. I'm not being a bargaining chip for you. Open the government and sit down and act like an adult and negotiate a deal or tender your resignation, asshole. Call them up. Tell them that. Tell them you're not going to be their bargaining chip, that you're not going to allow them to use you as a hostage. Because that's what this is. It's a hostage situation, and it's time the American people fight back and say, we're not going to be hostages. We're not going to be held hostages and use bargaining chips because you don't like the orange man. Okay? Yeah, the orange man does a lot of dumb shit. Okay? There's a lot of things I think he should do differently. A lot of things that I think he should be focusing attention on, but he's not. Okay, that's a whole other can of worms. I could be here all night. But my point is, we see the weaponization of government. We know the truth, and we can't allow these people to sit there and perpetuate these lies in order to hold the American people hostage as bargaining chips to get what they want. They need to be exposed. Again, we need to call up our state representatives and demand an end to this government shutdown. And we need to take to social media and make sure that the people on the Democratic left who might still be supporting these people are made aware of the truth. I've been all over social media, all over these pages, talking to so many people, all these bots, all these other pages. I've just been reaching out to people and just tagging people and just talking and talking and talking and talking. You speak the truth. You speak the truth loud enough, people are going to start hearing you, and they're going to start sharing what they hear, and they're going to get the word out there, and it's going to spread like wildfire. Pardon the term, Gavin Newsom. Fuck you, you fucking pyro. You need to be in fucking prison. Again, speaking truth, speak it loud, speak it proud, and share the truth. If you like these broadcasts, again, we've had a consistent 10 to 11 people watching the live stream, which is pretty good for being like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Again, I would have loved to have done this earlier in the day, but I wanted to wait and just see what the day brought. But still, we're reaching more and more people every day with these podcasts, with our posts on X and everything else that we do. But we're nothing without you. You know, we may be the ones making these podcasts. I may be making these podcasts. Me, Connor, Revan do the roundtable, and Revan does his own podcast and whatnot. But you're the ones that share the live feeds. You're the ones that choose whether or not to share our content, to follow our varying pages, to go to the TWBRN store and buy the merch. It's all you. I may be the voice. I may be a voice, but you're the wind that carries the voice, my brothers and sisters. You are the wind that carries the voice. Alex Jones, he says, he's the tip of the spear and whatnot, okay? The people are the ones who hold the spear. They're the ones that guide its path. They're the ones that aim the spear, throw the spear, and make sure that it hits its target. And our target is the people who may otherwise not know what's going on and how they're being dazzled with brilliance or baffled with bullshit. And it's up to us, as an activist community, to share this information. If you see that I said something relevant that would resonate with other people, share the feed, share the videos, share the live feed. Suggest people follow us on Real TWWR on X. Okay? Help us reach more people. Help us get the truth out there and help get people informed. That was always the initial goal of the Worldwide Resistance Network, even when it was Resistance 2058, before we rebranded as the Worldwide Resistance Network in 2014. Okay? That was the first and fundamental point of the quote information war, was getting the information out there. I started in 2009, 2010. Alex Jones has been doing this since the mid 90s. Others have been speaking out at varying points before and even after I came along. But the only reason we are having any sort of an awakening right now is because the information gets out there. And the information gets out there because of you, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, support the broadcast, share the live feeds, follow us on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Check out the online store full of TWBRN merch, the Charlie Kirk merch, and of course, the new No Kings merchandise. Or not No Kings, No Strings merchandise. Damn, I was on a good roll. I just had to fuck it up, didn't I? Yeah, it's all you guys. I can only speak, but you're the ones that help carry our voice. And that is why every day when I'm on air, when I go to close this broadcast, I say, this is the Tinman the Resistance. If you're watching this, you are the resistance, because that's what you are. You are the resistance. You carry the feed. You help us to reach more people. And that's all I could ever ask, is that you continue to help us to grow, to reach more people. Again, support the broadcast. Follow us on X, Rumble, YouTube. Check out the online store. And we're already in an hour now, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. If you're watching, this is the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the resistance. Vote no on Proposition 50.